Hello everyone and welcome to Rollin'-ish. I'm Matt, and in this video we're looking at Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. This book came out quite a while ago and was a supplement to the 2014 Player's Handbook. It, like Xanathar's Guide to Everything, offers additional options and features for each class from your Player's Handbook. If you haven't done so already, check out our class playlist, and there you're going to find an intro to all the classes and features that you get levels 1 through 20, as well as breakdowns of all the subclasses offered by your 2014 Player's Handbook and Xanathar's Guide to Everything as they appear in those books. Today we're going to be looking at Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and the subclass options for your bard, all in preparation for the 2014 core rulebooks that are coming out really soon. So the first option for the bard class is going to be the College of Creation. They view that the cosmos itself is a work of art, and that work has harmonies that resound through existence today, known as the Song of Creation. These bards are going to essentially pluck the strings of that song via dance or music or poetry as they use their magic to create new things. So this type of magic is like a work of art to them. Oftentimes you're going to find dwarves and gnomes in this college because those races in particular promote and try to steer their children who are bardic to move to this type of college. You're also going to see that it is revered amongst Dragonborn because whether they're chromatic or metallic, they worship Bahamut or Tiamat. They are going to look to Bahamut and Tiamat as some of the first singers of this song of creation. So you're going to find that those races are going to be pretty popular with this college choice, although you don't have to play a dwarf or a gnome or a dragonborn, but it will make sense for your build. Okay, the first feature that you get choosing this college is the Mote of Potential. So basically, when you give a creature bardic inspiration, you utter a note from this song of creation and create a tiny mote of potential that floats within 5 feet of that creature. This mote is intangible and invulnerable, and it lasts until the bardic inspiration is lost. It's going to look like a musical note or put your own flavor to it. It could be a flower, a star, or any other symbol of art or life that you choose. When the creature uses their bardic inspiration, the mote is going to provide an additional effect based on how that creature is using their bardic inspiration. For example, if they use it for an ability check, the creature can roll that bardic inspiration die again and choose which roll to use as the mote pops and emits colorful, harmless sparks for a moment. So it's kind of like a re-roll on that bardic inspiration die. If you choose an attack roll, the inspiration die, you can add it to the attack roll against the target. The mote thunderously shatters. The target and each creature of your choice that you can see within 5 feet of it must succeed on a Constitution saving throw against your spell DC or take thunder damage equal to the number rolled on the Bardic Inspiration die. If your target rolls the Bardic Inspiration die for a saving throw, the mote vanishes with the sound of soft music, causing the creature to gain temporary hit points equal to the number rolled on the Bardic Inspiration die plus your Charisma modifier. So depending on how you give this mote to someone, it depends on how they use it, the additional effect the mote will give. But all those 3 things are a nice buff, so I will be grateful to you bards for giving me the benefit of your mote of potential. Okay, 3rd level, you also get Performance of Creation. As an action, you channel the magic of the Song of Creation to create 1 non-magical item of your choice in an unoccupied space within 10 feet of you. The item must appear on a surface or in a liquid that can support it, so like on the ground or in that pond. The gold value of the item can't be more than 20 times your bard level. So if you're new and you're 3rd level, 20 times 3 is 60 gold. What you create needs to be non-magical and valued less than 60 gold. Your Player's Handbook specifically has a chapter dedicated to items and how much they cost. So you could use that as a template to determine what it is that you can create, or ask your dungeon master, your game master, hey, I want to create this. How much would that cost in gold value, to make sure that you're following the parameters of this feature. The item you create must be medium or smaller. The item glimmers softly and a creature can faintly hear music when touching it. The created item disappears after a number of hours equal to your proficiency bonus. For examples of items you can create, see the equipment chapter of the player's handbook. That's what I just mentioned. Once you create an item with this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of 2nd or higher to use this feature again. So this provides you an option to do it again, but you need to burn a 2nd level or higher spell slot to do so. You can only have one item created by this feature at a time, so you can't spam this, even if you have the spell slots. If you use this action and already have an item from this feature, the first one will immediately vanish. The size of the item you create with this feature increases by 1 size category when you reach 6th level. So starting here at 3rd level, when you get this, it is medium or smaller. When you reach 6th level, you can make large or smaller. When you reach 14th level, you can make huge or smaller. So if you want to create a ladder for an instance, maybe a crate to store things in, maybe you want to make a non-magical weapon, those are all things that you could do, assuming the gold value is equal to or less than 20 times your bard level, and you only have one at a time, and you're following the size parameters given by this feature. I specifically took a while to explain that because I want to make sure it's used properly, and I don't want you to say Roland-ish taught me wrong. All right, at 6th level, you get animating performance. As an action, you can animate one large or smaller non-magical item within 30 feet of you that isn't being worn or carried. The animate item uses the dancing item stat block, which is below, which uses your proficiency bonus, or the initial PB. The item is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. It lives for 1 hour until it is reduced to 0 hit points or until you die. In combat, the item shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action unless you use a bonus action on your turn to command it to take another action. That action can be one in its stat block or some other action. If you are incapacitated, the item can only action of its choice, not just the dodge. When you use your Bardic Inspiration feature, you can command the item as part of the same bonus action you use for Bardic Inspiration. That's pretty cool. So you can either burn a normal bonus action or make it part of the same bonus action for Bardic Inspiration. So you can kind of tack it onto your other features. I like that because you're not making me choose between the cool thing I want to do with the item or inspiring someone on my party. I can do both at the same time. I love that. Once you animate an item with this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of 3rd level or higher to use this feature again. So similarly to the performance of creation, where you can create something and use it again if you burn a 2nd level spell slot, you can use this animating property as long, again, if you're out of them, by using a 3rd level spell slot. So I could use spell slots to fuel this. That's pretty cool. You can only have one item animated by this feature at a time, just like the creation. If you use this action and already have a dancing item from this feature, the first one immediately becomes inanimate. Okay, so the dancing item will have an AC of 16, and hit points are going to be 10 plus 5 times your Bardic level. So you get this feature at 6th level. So 5 times 6 is 30. 30 plus 10 is 40 hit points to start. That's not bad. Has a speed of 30 feet and a fly of 30 feet. Immune to poison and psychic. Can't be charmed, exhausted, poisoned, or frightened. It's got dark vision of 60 feet. It understands the languages you speak. It has immutable form. The item is immune to any spell or effect that would alter its form. It has irresistible dance. When any creature starts its turn within 10 feet of the item can increase or decrease, your choice, the walking speed of that creature by 10 feet until the end of the turn, provided the item is incapacitated. So it says when any creature starts its turn. So my party members, and that's why I have a choice of increasing their speed to help them, or if it's an enemy, decreasing their speed to slow them down. The only action it can really take is Force Empowered Slam. It's your spell attack modifier to hit. It's got a 5-foot reach, one target you can see, and the damage is going to be 1d10 plus your proficiency bonus force damage. All right, that's cool. I like that a lot. Creative Crescendo, 14th level. When you use your Performance of Creation feature, you can create more than one item at once. The number of items equals your Charisma modifier to a minimum of 2. If you create an item that would exceed that number, you choose which of the previously created items disappears. Nice. Only one of these items can be the maximum size you can create. The rest must be small or tiny. Okay, so there are some parameters of this to balance it out. You're no longer limited by gold piece value when creating items with the performance of creation. That's cool. So size, I still have some limitations, but as far as how much it's valued, I could stop worrying about that at 14th level. All right, that's very unique. That's a pretty clever subclass to allow you to get creative, literally, with what you're using to buff the party. Awesome. Okay, the next option in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything is the College of Eloquence. These are going to be your talkers, okay? They master the art of the oratory. These bards are going to use logic and theatrical wordplay, winning over skeptics and detractors with logical arguments and plucking at heartstrings to appeal to the emotions of audiences. So they're not only good speakers, they're your speech givers, right? So this is going to be your charismatic talker in the party. You want to play a bard, but maybe you're not so focused on the combat aspect. You're focused on the charisma aspect of the bard and the ability to use your words. I love it. This is a great subclass for you. First feature that you get at 3rd level is called Silver Tongue. When you make a persuasion or deception check, both charisma based, you can treat the d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10. So anything lower than a 9 becomes a 10, then you add your modifiers. Just so we're clear, that includes 1s also. 1 is not a critical failure on an ability check because ability checks factor in the total number that you rolled. 1s, and 20s for that matter, are critical failures and critical successes in attack rolls and saving throws. That's in your player's handbook. So don't forget that. As you watch a lot of these channels at different streams, different homebrew rules might be affected by this, but when it comes to an ability check, it is the total rolled. So anything less than a 9 in this case would become a 10. Then you add your modifiers. This is going to give you, and the reason it's a benefit is a higher chance of success when you do end up rolling low because you're the talker. You've got a silver tongue. You should have some kind of benefit here. And you do, and it makes sense. The next thing you get is called Unsettling Words. You get this at 3rd level as well. As a bonus action, you can expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration and choose 1 creature you can see within 60 feet of you. Roll the Bardic Inspiration die. The creature must subtract the number rolled from the next saving throw it makes before the start of your next turn. So these unsettling words are going to really help whoever's behind you. This is a party buffer use, and it's a bonus action. You still have the ability to use your action to attack or make a spell, something like that, but as your bonus action, to be able to roll that Bardic Inspiration die and make sure that they subtract that number from their saving throw, maybe you'd use your bonus action first, then you cast a spell that'll make them use a saving throw and thus increase your likelihood of them failing. Or you could do it towards the end of your turn, use your bonus action because you've got maybe spellcasters behind you that got maybe harder hitting stuff, and it'll be more of a benefit for them to get that benefit behind you. Either way would work. That is a great feature to have. At 6th level, you get Unfailing Inspiration. When a creature adds 1 of your Bardic Inspiration die to its ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, and the roll fails, the creature can keep the Bardic Inspiration die as if they didn't use it. That might be my favorite feature in all the Bard subclasses right there, because how annoying is it to get Bardic Inspiration from your Bard and still fail? You've got no one else to blame but your dice. But I, of all people, need something like this. Looking at you, Crar. That's our Bard. Universal Speech at 6th level. As an action, choose 1 or more creatures within 60 feet of you up to a number equal to your charisma modifier. The chosen creatures can magically understand you regardless of the language that you speak for 1 hour. Notice how it says chosen creatures. It doesn't say humanoids. It says creatures. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of any level to use it again. I love this option of burning spell slots to use some of these features before I have to rest. I like the idea of the chosen creatures, because creature could be anything, really. Sometimes features like this can be limiting to like humanoids or monsters. The fact that it says creatures tells me that I could tell an owlbear to calm down and have it understand me, so we don't get eaten alive. Infectious Inspiration at 14th level. When a creature within 60 feet of you adds 1 of your Bardic Inspiration dice to its ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, and the roll succeeds, you can use your reaction to encourage a different creature other than yourself that can hear you within 60 feet of you, giving it Bardic Inspiration die without expending any of your Bardic Inspiration uses. It's a freebie, so give it out. Oh god, I love that. So there's an option for failing and keeping my die, and there's an option for if they succeed, I could get somebody else without burning another one. You can use this reaction a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Love it. If I'm playing a bard, I may consider this because it's very buff heavy, and to me that's the whole point of a bard, is to help the party, be a party helper. I really love this. So for people who play with me, look out, because if Matt makes a bard, he might go College of Eloquence. No cap. All right. That's going to do it for bard. Our next video, we're going to tackle cleric, but until then, keep rolling those dice, and we'll see you at the table.